Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Lynne Waggoner-Patton, a Cedar Rapids native who has gone on to be a star on America's Got Talent, among many other things, but talking specifically about bringing a show to the Paramount Theatre. First off, Lynne, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Dennis.
So anybody who has watched America's Got Talent has probably seen the Silhouettes dance troupe.
We hope so.
Because you made multiple appearances there over the past almost decade.
13 years? 13 years. Yeah.
And I think most recently 2020 when you have been back
it was
since.
Filmed in 2019, aired in 2020, and that was the Golden Buzzer. Then we were doing AGT Superstars live at the Luxor in Las Vegas for 2.5 years.
Oh, okay. So a residency too.
Residency, Cirque du Soleil and AGT, or Fremantle Media and NBC got the show together, and then we were one of the main acts that they rotated acts in after every season, but we were one of the mainstays for all the run of the show, actually.
If you're trying to think, okay, have I seen that? What have I? Yours is the style of dance. It's called Silhouettes because it's all shadows, and all your dancers and actors, create, live shadow puppets.
Puppets, it's very hard to, even my agents who book my 90-minute theater shows don't know how to sell us. And I said, it's almost indescribable what we do. We tell stories, which I've been a storyteller since I was in kindergarten, says my kindergarten teacher report card. And it offers dance, acting, singing. We do multiple different mediums. We'll do shows that are just shadow shows. We'll do shows where they come out from behind the screen and dance with their shadows. We'll have acting and vocal, and I've written several shows that we get to travel with. So it's a supreme type of storytelling you've never seen before that appeals to every audience age.
And coming to the Paramount Theatre on October 19th, and this is a fundraiser for the Discovery Chorus, which you have a history with because you're great friends with director Amy Hanisch.
Yes, Amy Kepke Hanisch, and the way I'm great friends with Miss Amy is that I went to Kirkwood many years ago, and I met Amy in the music department, and her father, Alan Kepke, was our professor.
The choir director at the time.
Yes, and we were in Fiddler on the Roof together. She was Hoddle, I was Zeidel, and our friendship started then and has just stayed strong throughout all of these years. I moved out to Colorado in 1987. I moved to Montana in 2022, but I still come back, and Amy and I get together every time. And we did a collaboration in 2012. We just got off America's Got Talent, first runner-up out of 100,000 acts, and I loaded my cast up in a bus and drove them out here to Cedar Rapids to open the Paramount Theatre after the 2008 floods. It was I think we were the first act in. And also a gift to the Cedar Rapids community and my father, both of which have supported me throughout this entire process. I would not have gone as far as I did with America's Got Talent had I not grown up in Cedar Rapids and had the opportunities that everyone gave me here, especially Kirkwood. Kirkwood gave me the education that I needed and it opened doorways that made it happen. But Amy Hanisch is the choir director for the Discovery Choir from Orchestra, Iowa, and they will be singing at the beginning of our show, and we're also creating a brand new piece called Home that's going right before the finale. And there's underprivileged children here in Cedar Rapids that would like to be part of that choir, and they cannot afford the entry.
Because there is a tuition.
There is. Obviously, they have expenses. And so we hope to create enough proceeds from the show to offer many scholarships to children who maybe can't do it because of the funds that needed. We're also hoping to help Tanager Place Home for Children. We did that back in 2012. We gave all of the proceeds from the show to the Tanager Place. And hopefully, if we have proceeds from the show, so get out there and buy your ticket, we will be donating to the Tanager Place as well.
So take me back. So you grew up in Cedar Rapids. You said Pierce Harding Kennedy,
yes,
which is familiar to anybody from the Northeast side. And then, of course, went to Kirkwood, where it sounds like music, theater, all of that. Did you dance?
I did.
All along here too?
I taught dance in the evening to put myself through college. My dad was helping me with college, and he worked at Iowa State Bank and Trust in Iowa City and said, you have to do business. Business is what you need, which thank goodness, because I was able to open my own business in 1992 because of that. So I was walking from science, biology. I think they were dissecting a frog, and I said, I can't do it. And I was so sad. And I was walking to economics, and there's a big horseshoe shape. Is that still here? The horseshoe shape and in the middle of that horseshoe shape, there was this corridor that went down, and I heard singing. And I walked by it every day for a year, and I cried because I was like, Dad, I really want to go back into music. And he said, well, okay. I'd already had a year of the business, and I went down and looked through the doorway, and surprisingly, it was Amy Kepke that I saw singing. And I met the director, Alan, and I auditioned, and he gave me a scholarship. And that changed my life. So I then finished with a liberal arts degree with an emphasis in music, but a vocal music education. They were not a 4-year. You're a 4-year now, right?
No, not yet. Still
okay.
a 2-year right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
So
there's some rumblings, but that's another story.
Oh, okay. Well, it changed my life. And that's how I became part of the whole music program here at Kirkwood. And they gave me so much opportunity. They let me do things that I never would have the opportunity to do at any other school.
How did the concept of silhouettes come about?
Interestingly, I was contacted by a producer that does the opening ceremonies for the Olympics, and they were doing a big sporting event in Denver that is called Sport Accord, and it's where 2,000 delegates from around the world come into a different country, I think every 2 years, and they determine where the World Games are, and they present like a conference. And they said Earth, Wind, and Fire is the third act, Colorado Ballet is the first act, and we want a local studio here that's, we were top 25, one of the top 25 studios in the nation for competitive dance studios. And we said, we want a local representation for, other than Colorado Ballet, to do a big 350-piece country hoedown. Well, choreographers out there know that a country hoedown, you can only do so much with a country hoedown. So I was busy securing 350 dancers, and the producer hit in at the last minute and said, I've changed my mind. I want to do something in shadow, which I'd never done, using pictures of Colorado and dance. Can you do it? And I learned very young here in Cedar Rapids to say, yes, I can. I had no idea how hard it would be, but we did it. And NBC Channel 9 News asked to film the rehearsals for Earth, Wind, and Fire and Colorado Ballet, and both companies said no. They didn't want their rehearsal filmed because obviously a rehearsal is not the end product. Well, they called me and I said, absolutely, yes, sure. So for 4 days, every hour on the hour, they presented our performance. And so America's Got Talent producers saw it and asked us to audition. And of course I said no. No, we have children on this cast. It's a reality show. I was afraid. I was just afraid of failure. I was afraid of so much. And they asked 3 times, and I finally said, okay, fine. I wasn't even at the original audition in Colorado on October 10th, 2010. I didn't think anything of it. The dancers said they looked like dorks when they had to hand over a DVD or a DVD of our product because we couldn't set up in a hotel room because we have a big screen and a projector.
You couldn't do the show live for the producers.
No, and so I didn't think anything of it. They said it was kind of silly. They acted silly. They felt immature, and I said, well, this was a good opportunity to learn how to audition. 2 months later, I get the call, hello, this is Nigel from America's Got Talent, and we'd like to have you on the show. And I thought it was my cast members pranking me. And I even said that. I go, who is this? Ryan, is this you? Who is this? And he, well, it's really Nigel. And so from there, they flew us to Minneapolis, and I kept telling my cast, this is it. Just enjoy every experience, learn. They immediately made us sign something that said, if you win, what would you do with $1 million? And I didn't want that pressure over. I had 42 dancers back then that were going on the show, and I didn't want their parents pressuring them to win for money. And so I signed it over to, it was called Mount St. Vincent's Home for Children in Denver. And I said, if we win the money, it will all go to that home for children. So it took that pressure off. So it was just this fun ride that they kept pushing them through. We went from January, was our first initial, all the way up through September 14th, 2011. We were on that show over and over. And then they asked us back in 2016 as guest artists twice. And then they asked us back to do the Champions, which I said yes to. Because I thought it was going to be easy. I thought, I've been doing this for 10 years. It's all good.
I know how this works.
I was early grave on that one. I have a picture of myself. Everybody's watching Kiss in the big arena at the finale, and I'm in the dressing room laying on my back crying because I'm so tired. Then they called and asked if I would do Las Vegas, the Luxor residency, and I said no, because I did a residency back in 2013 for 3 weeks at the Palazzo, and it was just weird taking children through the casino and putting them down below the stage. And I said no, but they said, well, would you just train the adult cast that we have out here? And I thought, well, I could do that. So I went out and I trained their adult cast that they had hired for all of the acts, and they did it for 2.5 years. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Wow, well, yes. What does the troupe look like now?
Now I have cast members all over the United States, and I pull on them to do. We just did a presidential event last June, which was George Clooney was there, Julia Roberts was there, Barbara Streisand was there. That's how they sold me on it. Barbara Streisand's going to be there. I'm like, I'm in. And we combined people from my new Montana division that I created when I moved to Montana. I still have my Denver division. I call them Montana Moonstars and Denver Diamonds. I also have people in Ohio, California, Arizona, Florida, New York, and I just send them out an email. They're all adults that have gone on to college, and they combine and collaborate and meet on set. We actually learned that show in the hotel lobby, like with no film. We brought everybody together and had to teach it to them and then go on stage. So it's a learning process, but it's a transitional moment in my life because I didn't think I was going to create a cast in Montana. I was just going to keep commuting to Denver when my husband moves us to Montana. But the children up there are so wonderful. They have Iowa values. They're good families. It reminds me of being in Cedar Rapids, and so I latched onto them, and they've latched onto me, and they're going to be here on October 19th.
So this is the group that's coming to
Yes.
To Cedar Rapids then.
My Moonstars, yes.
Okay. So what's the age range, experience range? What is that? What do the Montana Moonstars look like?
The youngest I have is 7. I don't think I'm bringing him. I'm bringing his older sister who's 10. I believe I'm bringing age 9 through 16, maybe 17 now, and then I'm also in the show, and I'm old enough to be your great-great-grandmother. So I play a lot of different roles, but I am typecast. I am playing a grandmother.
Tell me a little bit then about the show.
The show has been formulated ever since, we brought back Journey of Love to the Paramount in 2012, and it's kind of a spin-off of that. But I needed to make a show that was internationally well received. And so the show, every scene is about a different type of love. And it's all family friendly, but we have the love of children, the love of family, the love of instruments, the love of music, the love of animals, the love of chocolate. It goes in it's a lot of different emotional, there's comedy, there's drama, there's just powerful performances, love of fashion. And so every single scene, there is something for every age in this show, which is what we love. We start off kind of soft and sweet, and then it really grabs you in the second act. And I don't know of an audience that hasn't teared up or had tears streaming down their face because it's so emotionally, positively emotion. Positive emotion, positive inspirational messaging about hope, believing in yourself. Because, can I say more?
Absolutely.
When I was 8 here in Cedar Rapids, I was tested for what type of artistic abilities I had. It was a local music studio. They're not open anymore. There was a semicircle of parents and children after they got tested, and I was down at the end. And they came down and they told every child what they were probably going to be good at. Like, you're going to be great at guitar, or you could play the flute, or you're going to be a singer. They got to me, and they said, you have no talent whatsoever.
What?
And I'm not kidding. And you should try a different endeavor like sports. And the reason I remember the word endeavor is because I didn't know what it meant and I had to ask. So I just, big old crocodile tears were rolling down my face, and I slid down in my seat. And have you ever been embarrassed where you're just turned like bright red? I was so upset because I wanted to tell stories and sing and dance and act, but they told me I didn't have the talent. So I did try sports, and my dad took me out in the cul-de-sac every day after he got home from work, basketball, softball, everything. I was right field in softball, doing pirouettes, and I told him I wanted to be pitcher. So he worked with me until I was able to be a pitcher. But my coaches a lot of times cried big crocodile tears because I wasn't any good. I'd be dribbling the ball down in basketball and I'd trip and fall. And I wasn't used to those high top shoes. I was a dancer. But I decided when I was 18 years old, I went in and out of music and dance and back and forth between sports, that I was going to follow what I loved, whether I was good at it or not. And thank goodness I did, because I've found the most beautiful way of telling stories like no other. And we've moved audiences. We've helped raise funds for children with epilepsy. We've raised $25,000 for a little boy who needed a service dog. We raised funds for veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, muscular dystrophy. We were on what used to be the Jerry Lewis Telethon. We donated a show to them. A lot of homeless shelters. And so through the work, we're making a positive difference.
Well, you tell stories, but your story also is really inspiring. And to anyone who's been told, no, you're not good enough, here is proof that you are.
Right. And Alan was the first one who said yes to me, actually. When I went in and auditioned, I didn't think I was going to get a scholarship because I wouldn't have been able to do it. And he actually was the portal. Kirkwood was the portal that launched me into my dreams. And so I will always have a really, really, really wonderful, warm feeling in my heart for Kirkwood. I mean, I think anybody who wants to pursue the arts, I honestly don't know. I mean, the business is great unless you make, science great, unless you dissect a frog, because I can't handle it. But the arts here, it was so free and open, and jazz transit, and we got to sing and scat and sing with the jazz transit band. It was just a beautiful experience.
We're keeping that going here at Kirkwood, and knowing that there are people like you out there who have taken that foundation and made it into an incredible career is inspiring to everybody around here too.
Well, I think everyone should at least try the music department at Kirkwood College.
It's still great, believe me.
Wonderful.
We continue to have great faculty and great participation in all the music and the arts here at Kirkwood. The show is Love Happens with the internationally renowned Silhouettes Dance Troupe, October 19th at the Paramount's fundraiser for the Discovery Chorus with Orchestra Iowa. And I imagine you can get tickets at the usual outlet, artsiowa.com.
CREventslive.com,
Okay.
I believe. I'm not sure if Arts Iowa is one, but also just call the Paramount box office and they're ready to rock and roll. It's a 2 p.m. show, so for those of you that don't like to drive in the evening, we made it at 2 o'clock. We're coming in from Elgin, Illinois. We were booked in a theater there, and we're driving the cast over here for the 3.5 hours, and they're going to cry when they see how beautiful the Paramount is. It's just, I can't tell you. I've been in theaters all over the world. We've done a 4-month Germany tour. We've done Poland, Ireland, Japan, Mexico, Canada, and the Paramount Theater here in Cedar Rapids is by far in the top 1% of all the theaters in the world.
Well, I agree.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite spots as well. Well, Lynne, thank you so much for being here. It's so great to hear all about the troupe and about how your early days in Cedar Rapids set you up for that, and really looking forward to this show, and good luck with your future projects.
Thank you.
Please stay in touch.
Thank you so much for having me on, and again, go Kirkwood.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.